So hello, we're going to talk about symbolic constants in this video. So again, we are going back to our favorite example of the week. And I'm going to go back even to the original part where we are only getting the input getting the hour from the user. And if you kind of maybe you notice that I actually snuck this part in as well for a reason, which I'll get to very shortly. So again, let me run this. If I put in, I don't know, 5, it works. And if I put in something like 100, it doesn't. It complains. Okay, so that's good. That's good. Now, this program, the original requirement was to support a 24-hour clock. What if at some point we change the requirement for the program and now we want to support a 12-hour clock? So there are quite a few differences between the two. One of the major one is the valid hour in a 12-hour clock is between 1 and 12, not 0 and 24 as before. Well, you say, okay, well, that's easy. We just have to change the numbers. Well, so how many numbers do we have to change? Well, 6 of them, really. Here is where you see, there are 3 zeros, 3 zeros, 3 zeros, and there are 3 24s for a total of 6 places where we have to change the numbers. Whereas in fact, we are really just changing 2 numbers, right? We're changing the minimum hour from 0 to 1. And we're changing the maximum hour from 24 to 12. So what could we have done at the beginning to maybe save us the trouble of having to change the number in so many places? Well, yes, there's something we could have done. We could have given the number 0 a symbolic name that says that it's the minimum hour. We can also give a symbolic name to the number 24, which is the maximum hour, right? And just use those names. What I mean by that is, let me, oops, make sure I type this out. We're going to say min hour in the original one is 0. Max hour is 24. Now, okay, how do we use the number 0 and 24 in this message? Well, we just learned about string formatting, didn't we? So we change these two things in a placeholder. We say format. We say min hour, min hour, and max hour. Let me see if I can, okay, there. Okay, well, and how do we use the min and max hour in the relational operation? Well, that's easy. We just change it to min and max. And finally, we do the same thing for things that are inside the message. Format min max. Okay. Well, this is a little more code than what we had originally, and let's make sure it still works. So it still says 0 to 24. So if I say 5, then it's okay. That kind of really says that it works here and it works here. Now, if I change it to 100, then, well, it still tells me that that hour should be between 0 and 24. So that's all good. So what it is, hold on. So that now the minimum and the maximum value for the hour, they now assigned to variables. Now these variables, min hour and max hour, they are constants, variable or constants, in the sense that they do not change when we run the program. Okay, and you notice that I actually capitalize both of them. And so that's a convention that these constants or symbolic constants, they are capitalized. However, in Python, there's no way, or at least there's no easy way to enforce that the fact that they are constants, to enforce that they cannot be changed. Okay, there's no easy way to do that in Python, although in C++ or Java, you can just put a const keyword before it. So anyway, you can do that in Python, but I mean when you see something that is capitalized, it's a sign that you really should never change that variable. And then what we then did was use those variables in all the right places. So, all right, how does that help with our changing requirement that now we have to support 12-hour clock instead of 24-hour clock? I hope you kind of guessed it now, that I can just change the min hour to 1 and the max hour to 12. We run this. I'm going to put in 5, and yeah, that works beautifully. I put in 100, it works as expected, that it's an invalid hour. Now if we put in, I don't know, 13, which is valid for 24-hour clock but invalid for a 12-hour clock, it tells me that it's invalid because now we're in a 12 clock, we support 12-hour clock. Okay, here's the key, right? How many places do I have to modify in order to convert a 24-hour clock to a 12-hour clock, at least for the hour? I only changed 2 places, right? Instead of 6, the way we wrote the code before. And that is the power of using symbolic constants, right? When the requirement changes, it's very easy for, if the code is written the right way, it's very easy for us to conform with the new requirement. So it takes a bit of experiences to see what should be defined as a symbolic constant. So usually it's something that is, 1, used repeatedly in the code, and 2, it doesn't change during program execution, but 3, it might change when the requirement for the program changes. And most assignment in this class would tell you what symbolic constant you should define, starting with assignment number 2 that you're going to do this week. All right, I think that's the end for this video.